that downtown Main Street was at that time. And I don't know how many of you have been around that long, but it was in pretty bad condition. And we've got a great city manager there, Julio Fuentes, and a council that had a vision to kind of change Alhambra and to kind of get a downtown renaissance going, to get a place where people could shop and eat and visit and participate in just the fabric of life. So that was kind of the vision that Monterey Park, when they hired me, they kind of want something of a similar nature. So I'm going to show you some of the things that we have going on in Monterey Park, some of the things that we've got planned in the next few years. And as I had said at the beginning, when I got to Alhambra in '94, we had a lot of work to do. It took at least 12 years, and they're still working very, very hard every day. So these things take a long time. But you've got to get started. You've got to have a starting point and a vision. And when you look back, sometimes you're surprised at how much you've been able to accomplish. So I'm just going to go through a couple projects. I'm sure most of you have seen the Atlantic Times Square project. It's at the Atlantic Boulevard and Hellman. It's a 7-acre parcel that is a mixed-use project. It's got 215,000 square feet of commercial space. Most of that is anchored by an AMC theater and a 24-hour fitness center. There's about another 100,000 of that that's just retail. Of the 200,000 square feet of commercial, he's the owner, Cam Sang Realty. They're about 85% leased. And in today's market, for a brand new shopping center, being about 85% leased is doing awfully well. One of the conditions on there, we're holding, in cooperation with him, a few sites. We have about 10,000 square feet of space that we're specifically kind of geared towards national or regional mainstream type of retail. And so if you have any tenants looking to move, we've got some great spots, and actually the leasing rate there is actually very competitive, which is probably why they're so full at this point. This is just a few snapshots of what was there before, and if many of you have been around for years, there was an old car dealer that had moved to Alhambra many years ago. There was a produce mart at the corner of Hellman, and it had just been kind of a vacant lot for many years. They redeveloped it into a very nice urban lifestyle center. As I said, the downstairs is doing great, the commercial. The upstairs, there's 210 condo units, and they're struggling in this market, as you can tell. I think they've only sold or occupied about 10% of those. And so I know that's a side of this project that needs a lot of help. But they're nice units. They're priced, they're not cheap. I'm sure if you guys were the listing agents, you'd say, oh yeah, we can get more. If you were the leasing agent, you'd try to work it down. They are leasing now also, though, just because they have to. And that's, I know Rick Caruso out in Americana ended up kind of being forced into the same scenario. It's just a tough market right now to come onto the market with 210 housing units. So, but the center is doing quite well. Another project that has been working for years in the city, everything in Monterey Park seems to take forever. The Town Center project is the southeast corner of Garvey and Garfield. We're now in our 7th amended DDA with the developers, but we're getting close. This is basically a smaller version of Atlantic Times Square. It's built on 2 acres, much more condensed. It'll have 71,000 feet of commercial and 109 condominium projects upon completion. And they are just breaking ground. They just did some of the initial pilings just last week, and they're just beginning to get started. But as I said, we're still kind of tweaking some of the language on the development agreement. As you can imagine, trying to finance a project like this in today's market is not an easy task. It's basically, that one is basically 2 stories of commercial, and I think it was 5 or 6 stories of residential above it. The Marketplace project, another one that's been going about 10 or 11 years. But this is kind of the lifeblood for the city of Monterey Park. So it's going to happen. And this was actually a client that I represented for 2 years prior to taking the city manager's job. So I've got another 6 months of, I'm precluded from participating in that particular project, but our staff is working on it. It's the old, those that know, it's a 45-acre site off of the 60 freeway. It was an old landfill site on the north side of the 60. In the past, just in the past year, they have finished the remediation on the north side, and so it's ready to build. But there's very complicated mixture between Caltrans, the trust that is cleaning up the landfill, Montebello, Edison, and the city, and the development agency. All of those are enormous bureaucracies that just want to throw in wrenches every turn you can get. So, but in completion, and we're working on their development agreement, and the plan hopefully is to have this project fully entitled by the end of the year. It's the first time in the history of this project that there's actually been a buyer and an escrow and the remediation complete. So they've talked about it for many, many years. It'll end up being between 550,000 to 600,000 square foot retail big box power center. And what that does, if those of you in the business know, retail big box power centers generate sales tax. And it's going to generate a lot of sales tax for the community, which will be a great infusion of revenue for the community. I think we have, go back to the planning, you can go back one more time. I'm sorry. That's why you're doing it, not me. Just that the rendering is a little hard to see, but what you've got is on the east side of the property, there's actually an access road that comes off of Paramount and 60 Freeway, and on the west side of the property, it comes off of Potrero Grande and Greenwood. And so you come in to the center, and there's a home improvement store, something like Lowe's or Home Depot on the left side, and then on the right you've got about 400,000 square feet of retail, things such as Target and Kohl's and Best Buy, and those kind of users is who they're negotiating with. I was really excited the other day when In-N-Out came in, so we were. And those are things that the residents and the city council at Monterey Park have been just clamoring for years, is to try to get those kind of national tenants to come to the community. The residents are begging for it. The problem is, as with Atlantic Times Square and the Town Center project, when you build this enormous, dense, high intensity shopping center, the national retailers aren't going to come to that. You know, maybe if you're in Santa Monica, but not in Monterey Park. So you have to build a center to attract the right types of tenants. So this is one that we got the opportunity to do from the ground up, and it's designed to really attract those. And if you look along the 60 freeway, the retailers are excited because there's not a whole lot of 45-acre sites along the 60 freeway in Southern California. So it's a nice little island. The next one is just to kind of finish up on one of the things that I talked about, what we did in Alhambra to kind of just change the perception of our downtown. If you go to the corner of Garfield and Garvey, we've got a lot of restaurants, and I guarantee you we have the world's largest supply of ginseng. So if any of you bring in another ginseng business to Monterey Park, you will be denied. Come see me first. There has to be 15 or 20 within 2 blocks of there. And so what we're starting with is just cleaning it up. So if you drive down that boulevard right now, we have palm trees and cement. And it looks just like a bunch of, just very stark. The buildings are run down. The signage is awful. The paint is fading. So we're going to clean it up. We're going to bring in some plantings. We're going to do some painting. We're going to do some awnings. It's going to look very attractive. And it'll be a very attractive ginseng sales area. But in time, we hope to transition that and get I tell my staff every day, I want to design a downtown area that Nancy Chan would go to shop
I go shopping.
That's right.
My chick's in there.
At first they said, who's Nancy Chan? And then they got the vision. So that's what we're going to try to attract. We're concentrating on our business improvement district, which is really just about 3 blocks. So it's about 6 or 7 blocks, but each side is a very small area. But we're going to really try to condense it and make it an impact in that area. So what we're doing is we just first phase is paint and awnings and landscaping. So we're going in. This one is the northwest corner of Garfield and Garvey, and the biggest thing we're doing here, and these pictures are tough to see, but the corner right now is just a kind of a mess, and so we're going to put in a wrought iron area, a nice seating area, landscape it. There's a 10-rand tea shop there, so we're going to try to create just a little nice outdoor seating area for them on that. Redo some of the painting. One of the things you notice in Monterey Park is the buildings are white and the awnings are red. And you pretty much, the whole section of town is white and red. And so one of the things we're going to do is we're going to change that. And so here's a rendering for the corner where we're going to just start to change the color palette, change the awnings. And as I said, that corner, it'll still be a ginseng parlor, but as you drive by, it'll be an attractive one. And so that's just, but what our hope is, and I'm not trying to say I'm anti-ginseng, but the idea is we need to attract good retailers and the landlords to understand that maybe we can get a couple bucks a foot more if we can get a different type of tent. We could get a nice restaurant or a clothing store or something in that corner, and just start to kind of transition some of the uses there. And so by helping the landlords, we're hoping that we can kind of start the pump and move it. This is across the street next to Bank of America, and this one is just, again, kind of coming in, changing some of the color palette, changing some of the awnings. The whole goal is where will Nancy Chan go? Again, and you'll just see it. We're kind of just a lot of the buildings. We're just again changing the color palette. So instead of one building, what we have is one owner owns a building that's got 6 storefronts, and they all look exactly the same. So we're just trying to break it up, give each one a little bit of character, come in, make it look a little bit nicer, softening the palette for the pedestrians, putting in more sidewalk furniture, some plantings, just again, kind of soften the environment, clean it up. We've got a couple $100,000 this year funded to have people maintain the sidewalks a little bit better than they've been doing and clean the parking lots. And it's just a start. It's not. We've got a long way to go in Monterey Park, but we've got a lot of opportunity. As I had said, in '94 when I got to Alhambra as elected, the downtown business was empty. It was dead. There was nothing going on in downtown. I mean, almost every building was vacant. And what we had there at that time was a lot of overseas landlords who just parked their money and didn't care if the building was vacant or not. They just left them vacant. Monterey Park's different. I mean, the economy is thriving. You cannot go to a restaurant at lunchtime or dinner time or 3 in the morning and not have it packed. I mean, the business is doing great. We just have to kind of work with the landlords and the business owners to understand that we're thrilled business is doing well, but can we clean your window once in a while? Can we pick up the trash on the sidewalk, and let's just kind of change the expectation a little bit. So that's kind of what we're doing in Monterey Park. I encourage any of you to give us a call. I've got 2 appointments today with brokers or landlords that own each parcel is about 2 acres of vacant spot that we're working to get developed, and we're trying to really reach out to the development world and the landlords, and we're trying to attract a hotel, a nice hotel that can provide, we have a lot of tourism that comes through the community, a lot of trips start or end in Monterey Park from overseas. and we need to kind of attract it. I know that the Hilton down the street here has done a great job. I don't think we need a Hilton of that level, but if anybody's in the hotel brokerage business, give me a call. We've got 3 or 4 great potential locations. On that, I'm more than welcome to answer any questions. Or yes, sir.
Please go to the mic.
Oh, okay.